Okay, so I'm going to take a face, front view, side view, and we're going to line up the eyes, the nose, the mouth. Going to use the view rulers, so show your rulers right here in Photoshop, and then drag a line out, snap it right to the middle of the picture. Make sure that before we get started that your image is square. So this is 1512 by 1512. That is a terrible number. It should be a nice divisible number by 8. So 1024 by 1024, something like that. But don't do everything that I say. Just listen along. In this front view and then this side view, if you notice I sort of lined up the pictures. I had to go to edit to transform those pictures. So for example, if I was to view this front one, and let's pretend for a moment it's not quite the right size. You go to scale, I could scale the picture. I could rotate the picture if it was like, and actually this picture when it came in it was like a little bit off, so I had to rotate it a little bit. So again, that was edit, scale, and rotate, just to make sure that these front and side pictures lined up. And then I went and I saved them as PNG. And where did I save it? To the folder for this class. And I made a new folder for week 5. And so let's hop over to Max real quick. I made a new folder, and in week 5, and I said, okay, that way when I go in here to render to images, scene assets, to images, I can save my front face and my side face. Now just before we get started here, just look at this for a moment. These baselines here are sort of zones. Like if you were modeling in polygons, you want to make a sort of a zone for a mouth, a zone for an eye, a zone for a nose, because those actually are all the same things. And then you're going to copy and paste them over and over again, and then sort of maybe cut them in half and use half of one here, but here's a big circle, there's a big circle. So when we import these in, we're going to set them off in a 3D view on 2 planes, the front plane and the side plane, and then we're just going to model an object in that plane. And what we're going to do is, in this front view and side view, when we're done here, I'm going to copy and paste this object, and I'm just going to move it down here and shrink it down to this nose. And then I'm going to copy and paste this object, move it down to the mouth, cut that in half so I can get half of the mouth. When I do my full face object, I'll grab this eye, just scale it up so I can get the whole of the face. Because you want to follow sort of circle, circle. You have to fill in this area here. You have to fill in this as a U shape, but there's a big circle there. So it's all these concentric circles inside of each other. That's how your face is constructed. And all these things that you think of as separate things, in a way, are just similar things. You just have to start thinking of it that way when you're modeling, okay? So first things first, setting in our front plane and side plane. So let's save this, and I'm going to just make a new file here. And here's our front and side view. So just step 1, put those things into place. So make a plane. We don't need any divisions on this, so just one section by one section, and just make a plane. Just boom in the front view and boom in the side view. Okay, and I'm going to make these planes the same size. So 20 by 20, I suppose. And in this view, also 20 by 20. If I was smart, I would have had my grid snap on, but I didn't, so now I'm snapping it back into place. Okay, it's right there in the middle, and this other one, the side view, snapped right back to the middle. So in my 3D view here, there it is. Okay, so just like last week, we're setting up our planes. This plane, shocking, we're going to name this front plane. We're going to call this front plane. And this side plane we're going to call side plane. And we are going to just throw some images on here. I already have them made. But basically to do this, I just grabbed a standard material. I double clicked on it. I gave it a new name, called it material. And then I opened up the maps here. And I just clicked on map and imported my image. So if I was to do it again, here's my material, open up my maps, go to diffuse color, choose a bitmap, and then I choose this left and front side, this front side. Okay, so there's my map. And for this front view, I named it front face. So front, let's assign material to selection. Boom, there we go. And don't forget to crank that opacity up, because that will save you a little bit of effort. And then this side view, again, just click this side, assign that material to the side. So now we have our front and our side. Oops, backwards. Front and side view. And it's very important, after you shoot your pictures, by the way, to make sure that you're facing this way. So you're looking, I guess, to your left, to the left, and then straight ahead. Left and straight ahead. Or right, depending on how, I don't know, stage left. And then you want to place them into the space. And what we're going to do for starters here, just in this front view, let's go full screen. Actually go full screen here. Start with this very simple shape. So just with that eye, create that plane, again, lengthen segments just like so. And I'm just going to create this off the bridge of the nose, because I'm going to eventually create sort of a bat-like shape. I'm going to create a circle around that eye, and then I'm going to bridge it across and just mirror it to the other side. So let's scale that down a little bit, because I want to make it about as wide as that tear duct. And I guess this is the middle of my nose. I can snap that to the center afterward. And then we just go to modify and modify edit poly. I'm going to choose this edge, and I can actually just holding shift, which is a great trick. Hold shift and just extrude that out almost to the edge of the eye. Scale this down a little bit. Go back to move. I'm using the WER keys to hop between move, rotate, and scale. I'm going to just hold shift again and just drag this to the edge of that tear duct. Scale that down a little bit. Then I'm just going to grab this edge here, and I'm going to pull this out. And you know what I'm going to do. Just rotate it, because I want to keep this sort of, see this line right here, this sort of white edge of the white eye. I want to keep this perpendicular to that. So again, holding shift out to here again. Oops, it's not perpendicular, so let's rotate it a little bit and then move it using the W tool. And I guess 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 sections for the top. So about there. We're roughing this out, okay? So don't get hung up on the details. Don't put a bunch of different sections in here, because you'll just drive yourself nuts. Just keep it really simple for starters. You're not going to make the most amazing model first time out, so don't worry about it. Let's just quick and dirty knock this out, and I guarantee you, you'll be doing hundreds of faces soon enough. So I'm just using Shift to move and E to rotate, W to move, then holding Shift on the keyboard, dragging this out to extend it, holding E, pressing E to rotate that around, W, oh, I want to keep this symmetrical, so one here, so therefore it's a poly here, poly here, poly here, that would be poly there. Seems a bit extreme. Maybe I should have done another one up there. I'll show you how to split that in a minute. And then holding Shift, and it looks like I think I have a poly there, I believe. So I lost track. And E to rotate that. And all right, these got big. How did I let them get so big? I have to get a little smaller. And then I suppose we have to just, nope, this one here, and then this one goes here. Now, how do I lock this into that? Well, funny you should ask. What you do is with this little tool here, the 1, 2, 3, 4 on your keyboard, 1 on your keyboard, or just click vertex. You can select this vertex, and what we want to do is snap this one to this one. So you just right click and say target weld. So start here, click, drag, boom. Okay, select this one, and I think should be, that's the only other one. Ooh, there's got to be one here. Oh geez, oh, looks like I lost track. So this should weld to this. So let's bring it close, right click, target weld, start for here and snap to there. Boom. Now hit 2 on the keyboard, or just click on edge icon. You can double click, and I don't want that whole thing, so let's just click this one and this one. Oops. Holding Control, let's add these together. What I'm doing is trying to select the outside edge. And then R to scale, and go to the middle so we evenly scale up. Holding Shift, I'm actually Shift extruding. You can't tell at first, but it is extruding a new row of polygons. And you can tell that by clicking on vertex. Aha! See this other circle of vertices there that wasn't there before. So now I'm going to move this so it's about there. Move this around here, and you know what I'm going to do. I'm going to try to weld this one to that one. So again, target weld, click, drag, boom. Target weld from U to U. Okay. And there we go. That's the beginning of our Batman mask. And just to give you an idea, these eyes go around. We're going to mirror this across to the other side. You only have to do half the face at first. So let's get out of here. Click, turn off this vertex. So you can actually just straight up copy and paste. I'll call this mouth. And W, move this down here. And I'll move this to about there. So we don't need about half of this. So I'm going to choose these edges, zip, and delete them. Because I'm going to grab these edges, sorry, this edge, and this edge, and just use my R scale, and see how you can just flatten things out very quickly. Shift, oops, Control, scale down, and I'm eventually going to mirror this across. So turn off this edge, just grab the whole thing. Hello. Don't grab your plane, just grab your, oh geez. There we go. This is going to be a problem. So, quick hack. You turn on this icon right here, the hierarchy, effect pivot only. will allow you to move the pivot of the object. So just move this closer, something like this. There we go. Okay, so as we were moving the mouth over, that way at least the pivot was, if you notice the pivot was all the way out here, that's no good. Just keep the pivot on the object. So now if you notice, I got my mouth, I got my eyes, next one the nose. So continue continuously and try to get these shapes. So that should be enough just to get you started. I mean, I was sort of flying through some of those initial tools, but the weld tool is great and the extrude edge tool is great. Eventually, for example, this edge here, let's just fast forward here. This edge should be able to eventually extrude up and up and up and up into that edge of this other eye. So select this eye, turn this, we'll eventually merge these objects together, and that mouth and that eye plane will sort of snap together, and we'll just build this off of here. And of course, once we're done with the front view, we'll have to move on to the side view. If you see this, it's totally flat at this time. We'll have to follow this row of polygons down the face, down, down, down. So I have to remove that polygon all down these edges. So we'll get to that in a minute. So that's enough for now. Let's see if you guys can get started with that.